Thank you so much. Hi, Darius.
How you doing?
I'm well, thank you. So we're going to get into it. I'm going to start with the first
Can you hear
question.
me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you
Okay.
now.
Digging the backdrop, by the way. So
Thank you.
my
I
first,
appreciate that.
you're welcome. So my first question is, tell us about your humble beginnings of how you got into the music industry and how you made those roots your own once you got into the music industry, because we know you came from a musical background.
Right. Yeah. So, my parents met singing at a church anniversary, like a choir anniversary. Like they were both on different choirs. They met. So I've always been around music. When I was like one or two, I got my first drum set. So from that point on, I always played. My dad plays keys and organ and basically anything he can put his hands on. So that naturally kind of got handed down to me. And so that's basically how I started. Like I'm a musician first before anything. But then when I was around 11 or so, I started writing. And at the time, like for a long time actually, so my parents are pastors. So for a long time, all I listened to was gospel, like literally that's it, nothing else. So I think that, after I was 11 or 12 and then, finally started making music and taking it seriously, I was able to implement a lot of the things that, gospel has, and a lot of those elements and, convert it straight to what I do now because of how close gospel and R&B are. From melodies and harmonies to the instruments, like it's so similar. So I was able to easily kind of transition, what I knew about gospel music into what I felt like I wanted to do, which was R&B.
Wow. So that had to be some pressure there, right? Like PK Kid, what was that support like?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, so it's actually been pretty cool, and it wasn't really even until like this project that I just dropped, Life as We Know It, is the first project that I've consciously been vulnerable and felt comfortable enough to talk about how I really feel, as opposed to the things that I thought everybody wanted me to talk about. So when I first started putting out music, it was more like inspirational, like kind of more like Christian, like those kind of elements. But now I've had conversations with my parents and kind of let them know like, yo, I'm still me. I still have whatever you guys raised me to believe and to learn. But at the same time, I don't want to disservice myself by watering down the things that I'm going through and the things that I feel, just because I want to stay in a certain genre or I have these, pressures from other people. So, now that I've had that conversation with them, like they're really the only people that I care about, really like having my back when it comes to music, besides my team, obviously. But if I have my parents, my team, like it's just at that point what I want to do. So, now the focus is just being as intentional and pure and, making sure that we're staying true to myself as possible.
And speaking of purity and pureness, Life as We Know It, tell me about the development of that project and how you got into your creative spaces.
All started as just sitting down in a room with my managers and a couple of friends and a camera, and they literally were just like, all right, tell me how you feel. And I was like, I don't know, like, what are you talking about? So we sat down and we went over some stuff for a little bit, and then the conversation actually started getting into things that I was dealing with, and we wrote "Don't Stress." So "Don't Stress" was the first song that was written, from the project as what it is now. And from that, it just became basically a journal about life. Everything that I was going through, every song on the project is like about a specific situation that I went through. So, just being able to translate real experiences into, a cohesive body of work is what the goal was. And I feel like we accomplished that pretty well.
You definitely did. Do you think this was therapeutic for you?
Yes, yes. There is a lot of things that, even like sometimes now I'll reread the lyrics and I'll be like, man, like I didn't realize like it was, that bad in some of the songs. And I didn't realize, oh wow, I really felt this great in some of the songs. So for me, like whenever I sit down to write, I don't really write with the intention of like, okay, this time I'm gonna write a happy song or this time I'm gonna write a sad song. It's kind of like I'll just sit down and whatever I finish writing, I'll run it back and listen to it. I'm like, wow, like I didn't know I felt like that. Cause again, I'm not very good at like figuring out what I got going on. So, you know, writing is like the way that I can like really kind of stay in touch with myself, and kind of do like self checks on what I'm going through and how I'm feeling.
Okay, your checks and balances. Now,
Yeah.
since we know, since we know that songs are based off feelings and experiences, like you said, which song from your EP best describes your vibe right now and why?
Ooh. I would say, okay, can I do two?
Yes,
Can I do two
for
songs?
sure.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So I would say before any of this, I would say Empty is like kind of my vibe, like for life in general. Like I'm a very realistic, sometimes can be perceived as pessimistic person sometimes. So Empty is just like it's just talking about how everything in life, like everything in my life is going great. You know, like I was in at the time like a great relationship. You know, I had or have a great job. Like there's just everything that you could think of that, you know, people normally stress about, I had going well for me. But for whatever reason, I just felt like, wow, like I still feel like there's a lot of things that are missing. So I would say that, you know, for the majority of this year and, you know, even life in general, that has been the soundtrack. But, you know, there's a lot of healing that's been happening, a lot of self-reflection. So I don't really feel like that anymore. I would say right now, Never Too Old is my vibe, because it's like, it's just like an empowering song that makes you feel like you can literally do whatever you want to do. And that's where I'm at right now, you know, with the project dropping, and my birthday was yesterday. Like, it's just a lot of good stuff going on right now. So that's how I'm feeling. Like I can do whatever I want to do, for sure.
Oh, all right. Well, first of all, happy birthday. Whoop, whoop. Secondly, my next question
Thank
is,
you.
you're welcome. Which song stretched you the most to reach outside your natural talents as a singer?
Let You Go. Let You Go. Let You Go is the last song on the project. And it was actually produced by, you know, some of my people that I look up to. And it's a very like, it's all live instruments. It's a very like just kind of free and melodic song. There's not like a hard beat to it. Like I normally, like my songs are very like punchy and like they have nice bass lines and 808s and stuff like that. But this song is like kind of the total opposite. So when I heard it, I knew it was a direction that I wanted to go and that I wanted to explore. But I didn't really know how I was gonna approach it. So that's like the one song on the project that has, you know, it has a sample. It has not really like a structure that most songs have. It has like me singing at the beginning and then the sample, and then it ends with me rapping. So it's not like a very traditionally like structured song. But I think as far as like the vocals, you know, the thought behind the lyrics, everything, the writing, like everything, I would say that that's the song that pushed me the most.
Okay, all the songs are about, that's for sure. But Broken Boy, I Need Love to Fix Me, that part, okay? So you are speaking to so many generations on that song. Tell us about the inspiration behind that track.
Okay, Broken Boy is one of the songs that I sat down and I was like, I wanna flex the writing, because a lot of the songs are like, you know, they talk about emotions and they talk about, you know, everything I was going through. But Broken Boy was definitely one that like I wanted to show people like I love writing and I can write. So, you know, just like, you know, like this frozen heart needs to be broken into 10,000 pieces, and like being in a situation where you're asking this person like, yo, like, can you handle this? Can you handle everything that I got going on? Because, you know, I want to love like I'm supposed to, but there's these situations that's kind of stopping me from that, you know, from being broken, and I don't want to be broken no more. I just want, you know, that to happen. But you know, I think that that's a mistake that a lot of people make, is, you know, you without healing yourself and worrying about, you know, helping yourself, you search for these things that you're missing in other people. And that's definitely something that I learned the hard way multiple times. So now I'm in just this place of like self-reflecting and trying to heal, and realizing things that caused me to be broken. So that, you know, the next time I get to, you know, try to start something with somebody, I don't have to have some type of conversations. It can just be a healthy situation.
That part, healthy, okay? So, Timbaland has shown you a lot of love. How has that made you feel that he selected you?
Yeah, it's crazy. So this behind that one, like we do these things called My Take Mondays. We just decided like, you know, I wanted a chance to write to songs that I loved, whether they were, you know, old songs or new songs, and I wanted to put my spin on them. So, you know, that song was like about a specific experience and night that I had, and I went home and wrote to it, and I posted the video like right before I went to work, and I didn't really know what was gonna happen from it. I was just posting it to see, and he ended up liking it and following and reposting it and showing love. You know, personally, like he's a very dope guy. He's very down to earth and just wanted to encourage me. So that was cool to experience, because that's a person that, like, I, you know, even though I mostly grew up listening to gospel songs, I still knew who he was, because of the songs that he's written and how big they were. So to know that, you know, who I looked up to in their music, you know, supported me and thought that I had everything that I needed to be at that same level one day, was a dope experience for sure.
For sure, and the blessings keep rolling in. So tell me about your deal with Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yeah, so I work for Dick's Sporting Goods right now. I'm assistant store manager, so I'm like working like crazy. But they've always been, you know, invested in everything that I have going outside of work. I never told anybody that I did music. I think it ended up coming out some type of way. Somebody saw like one of my posts on social media, and that led to, like, you know, people sending my music around in group chats. There was like emails between store managers and regional managers, and so like I would walk into, like, we would have conferences like in different stores, and I would walk in and people that I didn't even know would be like, "Hey man, like I like your music, like I heard it, whatever." So that was always cool to kind of feel like they supported me. But you know, the way that the partnership came about was, you know, this time last year, we were on a conference call and they had everybody go around and like introduce themselves and say who they were. So I introduced myself and talked about like some of the music that I was doing. And the person who was over the meeting ended up reaching out to me and wanted to set me up with some people. So we did all that, and you know, the song that I had wanted to do at first, we weren't able to do. So when By My Side came out, we were like, "Hey, I think this is the one." And so they liked it, and so hopefully in a very short amount of time, you'll be able to walk into any Dick's Sporting Goods and hear my music playing on the radio at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Oh wow, that's your first musical score?
That's the first one. Yeah, that's the first one.
Congratulations. What next for you?
Thank you. Yeah, so next, you know, just pushing the project. We right now we're showing a lot of good things. You know, we were on the charts last night for R&B. So this is my first time like seeing my name in the mix with other artists that I listen to. So right now, just pushing the project, making sure that, you know, everybody's listening to it. And then from here, it's just I want to perform as much as I can. So anybody that wants to bring me out, I'm definitely available and free to come perform. I just did a performance in Atlanta a couple weeks ago, and it was like the best performance I've had, hands down. Like just the feel of everything. I got to perform some of the songs from the project finally. You know, just the crowd and the atmosphere, like everybody loved all the songs. They were rocking with it. So, you know, I'm definitely ready to start performing. And hopefully we'll have some more music coming out after that. But right now, just pushing the project and trying to get the performances done.
Okay, and I'm a fan, so I'm gonna follow you. My last question: where can viewers follow you and download your music?
Yeah, so Instagram is what I'm on mainly right now. It's I am Darius J. But I also have Twitter. It's the same thing. I am Darius J, just with two M's. I'm on TikTok under the same thing. Facebook is Darius James, but Instagram and Twitter are for sure the things that I'm on the most right now. Was, this time last year, we were on a conference call and they had everybody go around and like introduce themselves and say who they were. So I introduced myself and talked about like some of the music that I was doing. And the person who was over the meeting ended up reaching out to me and wanted to set me up with some people. So we did all that, and the song that I had wanted to do at first, we weren't able to do. So when By My Side came out, we were like, hey, I think this is the one. And so they liked it, and so hopefully in a very short amount of time, you'll be able to walk into any Dick's Sporting Goods and hear my music playing on the radio at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Oh wow, that's your first musical score?
That's the first one. Yeah, that's the first one.
Congratulations. What next for you?
Thank you. Yeah, so next, just pushing the project. We right now we're showing a lot of good things. We were on the charts last night for R&B. So this is my first time like seeing my name in the mix with other artists that I listen to. So right now, just pushing the project, making sure that everybody's listening to it, and then from here, it's just I want to perform as much as I can. So anybody that wants to bring me out, I'm definitely available and free to come perform. I just did a performance in Atlanta a couple weeks ago, and it was like the best performance I've had, hands down. Like just the feel of everything. I got to perform some of the songs from the project finally. Just the crowd and the atmosphere, like everybody loved all the songs they were rocking with it. So, I'm definitely ready to start performing. And hopefully we'll have some more music coming out after that. But right now, just pushing the project and trying to get the performances done.
Okay, and I'm a fan, so I'm gonna follow you. My last question: where can viewers follow you and download your music?
Yeah, so Instagram is what I'm on mainly right now. It's I am Darius J. But I also have Twitter. It's the same thing. I am Darius J, just with 2 M's. I'm on TikTok under the same thing. Facebook is Darius James, but Instagram and Twitter are for sure the things that I'm on the most right now.